Well, welcome to another edition of the Tricolour Reds, joined here by our host Khalid and my ever-present assistant Dara. We're here to discuss Garnacho's worldie against Everton, and we'll also discuss last night's game, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. So take it away, Khalid.
Yes, thank you. And I believe the only person who can beat Garnacho's goal is Dara. If Dara were to play in Old Trafford, would you can score better than that, Dara? No.
I'd break my neck even trying to attempt an overhead kick.
Oh God, I'll start from there. To tell you the truth, I missed the goal, but I can hear it. I wasn't looking at the telly when it happened, and I heard it in the commentary, like, whoa, and I was watching it in Arabic. To be fair, I don't watch it on Sky because Sky just hate us. I just don't like them. And then I see the celebration, Garnacho doing. I'm like, whoa, what happened? What happened? And then I saw the goal, and I'm like, boom. And then breathtaking. To be fair, what a goal! You don't see that so much in football. I think for me, the last one I saw similar is Cristiano against Juve. And then it went on for that debate, for my opinion, just what better goal is that? Rooney's goal, is it Garnacho's goal, is everything. I'm still biased. I still feel Rooney's goal is a little bit better than Garnacho, maybe because it's the noisy neighbors. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I just feel it's Rooney's goal was better, but it just took me really over the moon, that game and that goal. Let's call it off. The game against City, Chelsea 4-4, they said it's game of the season, done. This is the goal of the season, done. Like give him the award, give him Puskás award, close the topic. That's it, unless Martial can go back and pull a Wardy like that. No, not a
Not even
chance.
from the halfway line.
Nah. I think he can score with his eye closed, one like that. But anyway, Dara, I'm up to you. How did you live the goal? I hope you were luckier than me and you didn't miss it, because I still regret the moment. I looked like this, just looking for my son. Where is he? Where is he? And then I hear them, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, but it's okay.
I'll be honest, I just barely saw it because I was just entering the sitting room. I was literally just after popping out to the kitchen, grabbed something, came back in, and literally all you see on the TV screen, because I darted straight from the TV screen, and all you see is Dalot cross, Garnacho overhead, and then the roar. It was magical to say the least. But man, like you want to talk about the comparisons to the different overhead kicks of last number of years. Obviously, I've gone on to say that Rooney's overhead kick is better in terms of the moment and the time, because obviously you're playing the Manchester Derby. It's the winner in the Derby. But on a technique and overall perspective, Garnacho takes it, in my opinion. It's just the fact that he had to take the couple of steps back, so he's putting himself further away from goal again. And then once you take that into consideration, he himself has gone to say he didn't even realize it went in because he was face down in the grass. So I think that says a lot, because like it was just I'd say the way he came across saying that he didn't realize it went in until he heard the crowd. It kind of makes it think it was just a hit and hope for him, and that's saying a lot when there was only 3 minutes into the game. So for that, like I think just on an overall perspective, in terms of technique, Garnacho's is better than Rooney's, but in the moment, Rooney's will be better. And then I've gone on to say this on my social media in terms of the best overhead kicks in the Premier League history. Just talking Premier League, not talking Champions League or anything like that. I've gone on to say, in my opinion, the top three in no particular order, probably in this order though: Garnacho, Rooney, and then in third place, I actually, but a controversial one because it was actually against us. But
Van Persie? No. Okay.
No, it was against us because I went on to say Christian Benteke when he was playing for Liverpool, because a lot of people do say in terms of technique, power, precision, his is one of the more forgotten goals because that was the same goal that Deck's favorite player made his name. But I'm not going to say his name though. But Benteke's was probably one of the better overhead kicks of all time Premier League goals. So that's why, unfortunately, even though it was against United, it's in my top three. But that is my top three in my opinion, though. I'd like to see if anyone else has any other opinions on that. But the only, like, I was even watching back a video of that Sky Sports released of the best overhead kicks in the Premier League history since Garnacho came out, including Garnacho's goal. And those three are the only ones that stand out, in my opinion.
To be fair, I partially agree with overkick and everything, but I struggled between three goals when I was just looking at it. And Dek, I'll go to you here to start with this, and then tell me how you felt. How did you live the goal? For me, it was Garnacho, Rooney, and Van Persie against Villa when we won the last time the league, the 20th. It was special. It was a good, not good, a very great goal from Van Persie, to be fair. And it's a special game because I still remember the vibes of the game. Obviously, I was behind a laptop stream back home in Tunisia, so not in Old Trafford. And those are like the main three goals. But Dek, I believe your memory can go longer than us. So how did you live the Garnacho goal and any other goal before that you have seen that can top that?
I think technically it was probably the best I've seen. Just with the whole movement of it. I probably agree with Dara that Rooney's one against City is probably my favourite because it was against City and at Old Trafford in a bigger game. Whether Everton like it or not, they're a smaller team to us. I loved it. I leapt off the couch. I was roaring the sitting room down. The wife came to see what was after happening. It was just a worldie of a goal. It was great. 3 minutes in, bang, top corner, overhead kick. You can't get much better for a young lad playing for United than to experience something like that. Unbelievable. I definitely think it's the best one I've seen anyway. Definitely. Rooney I'd have to put into a second, and I'd go with your pick of Van Persie against Villa. I'm not going to pick Benteke over anyone. No, not at all.
Well, I was looking more at the bicycle kick perspective more than actual goal perspective. Like I agree with the Van Persie in terms of goals I've actually seen, whether it be on TV or live. Like in terms of, I think we were even talking about doing this discussion, but in terms of games I've actually been to and the goals I've actually seen, the best goal I've seen live in Old Trafford, though, for me, in terms of run, technical ability, skill, in my opinion, just from the games I've been to anyway, it has to be Rashford against Brighton back in 2019, where he took down the left tight angle. It was a great finish all the same.
That's interesting.
Like, I'm only going after the games I've been to live now. Obviously, many more to come, so hopefully we get a few more worldies in place there now. But that's just going after.
To be fair, my favorite goal in Old Trafford would be Cristiano against the Spurs 1-0 when we won 3-2.
Oh yes,
in that screamer that he scored. And it was my first time seeing Cristiano score because I've seen him in the games, but he didn't score. And it was the first time we say "Su" in the stadium. So it was my first game. But I just remember that Berbatov goal against Liverpool also. It's not
great
as
finish actually. Yes.
Good as Liverpool, but it's really as Garnacho. And I've seen him on UTV. He was asked what's his favorite goal, and he said it's that goal. Hat-trick, beating the Scousers, double kick.
Yeah, I suppose like in terms of where you place Berbatov's overhead in terms of the Old Trafford history, especially, you kind of have to look at it and think, well, it's not the most technical overbite because in fairness he was a tall fella. It's harder for him to get up and over to do a bikey, but at the same time, it's beating Liverpool with a hat trick, especially. Nothing else will that puts it way higher up the list as a result. Then.
Yeah. We're up for it. I applied for the away game, but I didn't get a ticket for Liverpool. To be fair, it's heartbreaking. I wanted to go, but maybe next season. And with that, let me move to the tough topic. We spoke about Garnacho and Garnacho goal, and then Garnacho started yesterday. Garnacho scored. Garnacho made some heat yesterday in the stadium. I was happy to see him. To be fair, asking the Galatasaray fans to I won't say the word not get banned, but it just clicked to me at what happened to Old Trafford in front of me. I was there in the stadium when they ripped off the banner. They were next to us and everything along the negativity that brought. And I said, okay, maybe it's a goal. And okay, Garnacho took a bit of revenge there. To be fair, it was harder to see than the loss in Copenhagen for me. I suffered more mentally with the loss yesterday. I mean, I still say loss yesterday. It's a draw, but you see, mentally it feels like a loss to me, because we were up 2 times, 3-1, 2-1, 2-0, and it's heartbreaking to see it go. I labeled the episode, "Can we still make it to the round of 16?" The answer typically is yes, but still our faith is not in our own hands. We still need to beat Bayern, who hasn't lost a game in like how many years? I don't know. In group phase, 4 years, I think. 3 or 4 years. And then we have to wait for draw. The icing on the cake is that I'm going to the Bayern game. Dara, you're going to the Bayern game, so I have to deal with this live in the stadium. And heartbreaking moment yesterday for all Man United fans. And I'll start with you, Dara, here. Up and down yesterday with the game. How was it?
Really, as you said, and as I was saying before we came live, I was speaking to one of the guys in work. An emotional roller coaster, as always, is for a Manchester United fan, but that's life these days. But no, as you said, I was ecstatic just to see Garnacho score again, because, not being funny, he could actually cement that left wing spot for himself and push Rashford onto the right, because in the couple of times that Rashford's been playing on the right recently, he hasn't done the worst, but you know he's still favouring that left side, so anything can happen in that regard. With regards to Bruno's finish, an absolutely fantastic finish, really. You see, we're 2-0 up. I wouldn't say of course, I was ecstatic, but I was there like, no, it's just something in the back of my head that's saying I can't celebrate yet, because we've seen the story before. We've seen this in Champions League group stage this season way too many times already. So I just knew in my own head, don't celebrate, don't react. And sure enough, went to 2-1. Now, it's a catch-22. I don't know what you guys thought with the first goal, especially. What about the second goal by Ziyech? That first one, it was a case of smart play from the Galatasaray breaking up the wall and splitting at the right time. But then there was also the question of Andrea Onana not trusting his ball. I don't know what you guys think, though.
Dick, I'll leave it to you and then go back.
I was more annoyed by the 2 sloppy free kicks given away by Bruno. Led to it. I mean, if those free kicks hadn't been given, I mean, you're not giving them the chances that they had. I mean, for the first 2 goals, definitely Onana's at fault. 100%. More so the second one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what our wall was doing for the first one. They're leaving 2 Galatasaray players stand in between them. I mean, anyone is going to know
that is a sticking
they're not
point.
going to break, so they're going to break. You know that's going to happen. It didn't help that Onana dived towards our wall instead of diving towards the ball. I thought he had a poor enough game now last night. And look, that's going to happen in his first season at United. It's happened for most keepers that I can remember. First season's always a betting in season, but he's making very high profile mistakes, and that's a problem for him going forward. I questioned a lot of the substitutions and their timings. Garnacho is waving at the manager to come off, then leave him on. He was our most dangerous player last night. I don't know why you're taking him off. I just found it very odd. We needed to win last. That was it. Draw wasn't good enough. Loss even worse. But I mean, we had to go for it last night, and to be 2-0 up, cruising, and then give away a sloppy free kick and an even worse goal. But to do it twice was just unbelievable. But that epitomises our season this year. Emotional roller coaster doesn't cut the mustard. It's just madness. But we'll always support them. That's the thing. We'll get behind the team for the next game. Onto Newcastle. We'll be still roaring on the Reds, and hopefully we can do a job there. Look, we'll keep our fingers crossed. We beat Bayern and something happens in the other game. I won't hold my breath. You just never know.
But even on the substitution point of view, sorry, but just to say as well,
you still hear him?
Do you hear me?
I lost the voice for a few seconds. I don't know about Dick. Did you hear him? Go ahead.
But no, with the substitution point of view, Menu for
Yeah.
me was the only one that actually made sense because he still put in his performance.
Mhm.
Garnacho, like to an extent, I agreed with Pellistri coming on because from the moment himself and Dallo came on, they looked dangerous. It was just they couldn't get their striking boots on because even was it Andy Mitten or one of the fellas on the Athletic, they actually made a point. Or Pellistri alone could have had a hat trick with the amount of chances he had at his feet when he came on last night, and he was dangerous. He just didn't have his striking boots on. So
Yeah, I think for me that substitution, both of them were a compelling event in the game. First, you make stupid mistakes with the wall. You make stupid mistakes with Onana for the first goal. If we ended the first half at 2-0, it would have been a different game. But you go 2-1 and in that stadium, in that noisy and that pressure, it's too much. Compelling event. At first, to be fair, when I saw Maino coming in, I was doubtful. I was like, it's a lot for him. Maybe it's too much. Is it his Champions League debut? I'm not sure. It is his Champions League
I think it was,
debut.
Yeah.
It's his Champions League debut. Okay, he did a good performance, also Everton and here, but the stadium and the pressure, I expected it to be bad, but he proved me wrong, and I'm happy. The other substitution, going with the number 9 who does nothing, I believe we were playing with 10. It felt like we had one player down, and Amrabat going out also. I believe it did hurt us a lot, and we made it to ourselves. Now we have to go through a painful process. We have to win and wait, nothing else. But there's a feeling inside me that says, because we're there, we'll be fortunate to live something that will win and wait until the last minute for the other game, and let's see how it goes, But it was really, really, really painful to see, and I put myself in the shoes of Newcastle, Eddie Howe, or whoever it is waiting for us in the weekend. They're probably rubbing their hands and waiting, and did already beat us 3-0 in Old Trafford, and it was even tough to take than other games. But really, I'm really now scared that even something happens in the Bayern game where we don't even make third place for Europa League, worst case scenario. I kept saying it to myself yesterday. Worst case scenario, we make Europa League. It's the final. It's in Aviva Stadium. With some luck, I don't know how. Maybe we'll get into the final. I don't know, but it's just tough to take. But I'd never swap Champions League place for Europa League going all the way to the final or whatever. I'd like to be in Champions League and see how it goes and go for an away game in Champions League also. But now it's tough. We have to do it the hard way,
We never do it the easy way.
We're over the past years, we have the experience now of doing things the hard way. We've grown as fans, and with that, probably let's just close the Champions League piece and think about the weekend. Tough game. Both teams suffered in Europe during the week. I believe Newcastle was robbed. I didn't see that as a penalty in Paris, to be fair. Now, VAR, and with everything we discussed before the podcast about VAR, okay, it's a penalty. At least the only positive point I got out with is what Dara said once in the podcast about Newcastle. Maybe they won't make it, and it is.
I'm willing to take my words back on that because they are actually coming back and they're starting to frighten me. But no, like with Newcastle and that VAR decision, like who I was watching it on TNT Sports. Who was when they were interviewing? Anyhow, was it Jermaine Genius was saying it after the fact that earlier in the game, Miley had a VAR decision overturned against him where it hit his calf first, I think, and then it did open the arm. So, like, I'm very conflicted because obviously I want to stick to what I've said before about Newcastle fans. But the problem is, this goes back to what we said before about the inconsistency of VAR. They ruled that one again, or they overturned that one on that young fella Miley for Newcastle. But yet then at the dying minutes of the game, Livermore has hit his chest in his arm, technically in a natural position for for how close the ball was to him before it actually left. Was it Dembele or Koulibaly's foot? And then it's just literally up into the chest, up to the arm, penalty. Like To me, it just shows the inconsistency of VAR. But then again, I'm kind of delighted as a Man United fan because this is exactly what happened to the Sandro Martinez against Real Sociedad last year. I was in the stadium. I was confused as hell watching that in the stadium last year because I was like, nobody fouled anyone. Why did they give you a penalty for? And then I saw when I got back to my hotel room, I goes, if they actually gave a penalty for that.
Yeah, I think Newcastle will ban VAR after what happened with Arsenal and happened with PSG. So it will be a bad word in Newcastle now if you say VAR. But tell me, guys, going into that game, with a shaky mindset, I would say we didn't lose, but we're almost out of the Champions League, and they are also on the cliffs. Can fall back to Europa League, can fall completely out. But they're way better in the Premier League, and they did beat us in the Carabao Cup back home. And Dick, I'm going to you here. How do you see this game, and what's the way to recover for Man United? Obviously, but I believe it will be a very hard game. What about you?
Well, the only way we're going to recover is to go there and win and put in a good performance. We showed in the last few games in the Premier League that we actually can perform. Okay, Newcastle are going to be a tougher team, but there's nothing there that we should be afraid of. When we attack, we can threaten and hurt any team in the Premier League. And that's what we need to do. We're slowly but surely shoring up the defence in the Premier League. Not so much last night, but I have to pay special mention to someone that I slated for a long time, Harry Maguire. I think he's come out in the last few games and put in some great performances when he could so easily been gone out of the club. So I'm delighted to see him doing well. We have to stop bringing on players that bring nothing to the team. Look, I'm sick of mentioning them, but we're down when our number 9 comes on. I don't care whether he scored a goal last week or not. He's still not good enough to be at Manchester United. Just get rid. I don't know, save money, do whatever.
Yeah.
Give them to anyone. I don't care at this stage.
I believe Deck will start my little boy instead of Marcel with the videos they send you guys with him playing. Like he'd start him. Like he won't care.
I'm 50. I'd start myself. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd definitely put in a more energetic performance. He just annoys me as a player who has unbelievable talent, just no work ethic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll go to Newcastle, put in a good performance, get back to winning ways. That's what we need to do. I mean, for our crisis of a situation, we're 6 points off top. So
what does that
exactly
like?
That's it. Yeah. And Dara, would you see Onana starting in the weekend, or would you see a surprise?
It's the age-old question that keeps coming back. I still believe because of his league form, he's still going to get the nod ahead of him. No, we're here Wednesday night. Anything can change between now and Saturday night. I'm still going to say Onana to start, but I'm not going to be surprised if Bayern gets the nod. Surprisingly, because we need to this is the point we're saying over and over again. We're going to have to see what he's like if Onana wants to go off to the African Cup of Nations. That's because there's talk that Onana wants to now stay at the club during the AFCON to prove he's worthy of keeping the number 1 spot. Because I saw something about a report earlier that apparently Onana feels that if he goes off to AFCON and Bayern cements a solid place, that's Onana's place gone. So it's down to Onana whether he wants to go now, really. So
exactly. I feel it will be a surprise for all of us, and Onana will be on the bench in the weekend. I don't know. I'll leave it there on the podcast and get back to it when it happens. But probably what? Sorry, go ahead.
He'd probably fall off the bench if he was put on it.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, maybe.
But no, honestly, I would be surprised. Like it's that catch-22. I'd be surprised if he's dropped, but I won't be surprised given the performance, especially of a high-profile performance. Like if it was the case that he went on to make those mistakes in the Premier League, depending on who he's up against.
Yeah,
it may take the difference, but anyway.
No, I definitely
And
think Erik Ten Hag will start him. I think he wants to he's trying to give him confidence, especially after mistakes. So I definitely think he'll start him.
okay, and probably here a point that I forgot to mention. It's back to the Champions League game yesterday. Anyway, what are your thoughts about Harry Maguire's performance?
Earn his flowers. Simple. Now the problem is what happens when Lisandro Martinez comes back. Remains to be seen.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm quite happy. I see that there's progress. He's better. He's stronger. It seems like what Deck said all the time with the captaincy that was given to him easier, and now it's gone. The pressure is gone. The media is not focused on him. It's focused maybe on Onana, on many other things, and he's performing. And I really liked what he was doing. And okay, there's still mistakes. We can still improve it, but he earned many points in my opinion. And Deck, I'll pick up your brain on this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he could so easily have left the club in the summer. I said from day one that he shouldn't have got the captaincy so early. This United, it has to be earned, and he was just handed it straight away. And the pressure of being captain of the biggest club in the world is going to weigh heavily on anyone's shoulder, and I think it did on him, and it affected his performances. And since it was taken away from him, he's shown a bit of grit and got back to just concentrating on what's important, putting in performances on the pitch, and he's doing it. So fair play to him,
Yeah, fair enough. Let's close it with a score prediction. Newcastle, Man United. I've never been to Newcastle to see a game, but hopefully in the future. But I don't know if you guys have been there or not. Seems like a nice stadium to see. No? But yeah, score prediction, Dara.
2-1 United.
Well, of course, United. You have to say.
Don't ask me who's going to score. I couldn't give you that, but I can tell you a scoreline.
All right, 2-1 United. That's interesting. Yeah. Dick, what about you?
I've already done it on the app. I've gone 2-1 United. McTominay to score the first, and I went for Bruno to score the winner then. So McTominay and Fernandez to score. That's
okay. So I have to pick another score that's not 2-1. So I'll go for 1-0. I won't say who will score because I did it in the derby and it completely went wrong. So I'll go for 1-0. It will be just 1-0 easy, and I don't care who scores, even if it's Onana. We need those 3 points. We need to go back on track, and still, as I said, 6 points from the top. Something probably that I missed, it was also on my notes, but I missed, it was Bruno's goal yesterday, which is also a fabulous goal.
Yeah, I touched it quickly, but
amazing, phenomenal goal. I scared my daughter when that goal happened. I was screaming, and she was like, "Oh, what happened? What's happening?" I'm like, "Yeah, just we scored a goal, yeah."
But
she can't.
As well, like you have to kind of think about this, right? It's not coincidental, do you think? 2 games with Luke Shaw back, and we're actually playing decent football. Now, fair enough, the defensive last night was less said about it, the better. But in terms of actual going forward, I genuinely think, and I'm not just saying it because he's back, I genuinely think Luke Shaw made the difference in the 2 games because, and I do feel with him back, Highland might actually get a bit of service, like I was saying before. Highland, or with the way Shaw can just pick a pass anywhere along that left hand side, Highland will be waiting for him. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I believe there's, I don't know, maybe it's like he's bringing something in the dressing room that we don't see. Maybe it's also his presence on the pitch. I still feel that this is better with Luke Shaw. I hope, and I still want to see Reguilón back also, because he brought a lot when he was playing, hopefully. And hopefully now with less injuries and less problems, so we can hopefully get back. And you know what, now in my mind, I'm not thinking about Newcastle game. I'm not thinking about any Premier League game in between. I'm thinking about that Bayern game and what's happening in Copenhagen. I don't know why, but it's just that biased thought. I so badly want to stay in Champions League, but let's see how it goes. Let's now it's a real test for the tricolor Reds. This is me and Dara going for the game. Let's see, because we've all been there and we all lost games except for Deck this season. If I'm not mistaken, Deck, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, no,
And-
I've only had 1 game, and I've still had 100% this week or this year.
You won a game this year?
Yeah, I tried with that Wolves game.
All right. Okay. Kudos to my friend Aaron, our friend from Kildare. He says 3-1 United. Well, of course. I don't get it why when you make a score prediction 3-1, you say it's United. Of course it's United. You can't predict Newcastle when that's 3-1. Kudos, Aaron. Hopefully we have you with us in a next episode, and we'll have the guys. And FYI, if someone's watching, I think there's an event this weekend in Kildare, and the guys are raising money for a charity. So go ahead, watch the game together. There's a meetup, and it's in Kildare, and donate money to that legendary supporter club. Any closing words, guys?
Well, I'd love to have made their Christmas party. They're a good bunch of lads. Work commitments, unfortunately, won't allow me to be there, but I would love to have been there because we had a lot of them down here in Kerry with us for an event, and you know what, the lads are great crack. So I hope you have a great night. Hope they raise loads of money, and I hope everyone can support them.
Yeah. My friend Dara, any closing words?
Bring on United again Saturday. It's an unhealthy obsession, but we all love them all the same.
Yeah, we go again. The first time and the only time I met both of you was in the Fulham game. We won 2-1. And Dara, I'll meet you again in the Bayern game, and hopefully we will win 2-1 again,
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Keep
All right,
the streak.
lads. Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining. Pleasure to host you, Talk United. We can do it till tomorrow, but we'll have to stop here. I'll talk to you next week, hopefully on a happy episode after beating a team that Dara will be super happy to beat back home. All of us, to be fair, but Dara will be happier, All right, lads. Have a lovely night. Thank you.
Cheers, Reds. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much, guys.
Cheers. Bye.